Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, the #1 sports information program in America, the Breakfast Bankroll, with your host, the sports broker, Jeff Dawson.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Sunday Funday Breakfast Bankroll, September 25th. Just 5 days left of this lovely, lovely month of September. October 1st will be rolling in next weekend. Hope everyone survived and advanced in the college ranks yesterday, and thoughts and prayers going out to Florida in the next couple of days. My partner in crime, Scott Webb, as of yesterday, it was going to be a direct hit, potentially a category 3, maybe even up to a category 4. So we'll be touching in with him throughout the week here. But again, anyone in Florida, keep an eye on the weather, please. And don't be a hero, as I told Scott. Board them up and get the hell out of Dodge if it's coming that way, and it's going to be something like that. But I'm going to start my Sunday rant, but I'm going to have the pleasure of bringing in Southside Riley so he can be a part of this rant today. So without further ado, let's bring him in from the South Side, Mr. Riley Magnuson. Morning, sir.
Morning, my friend. Happy Sunday. I am juiced to be here. We've got a loaded day, decent Saturday of action yesterday. But please, by all means, grace us with the rant that you've got cooked up here.
I don't want to say I opened up the playbook yesterday. We passed on the noon games, and of course, the week before we had Wake Forest team total, and here now they got the almighty Clemson. And I says, I'm not running back to double dip there. And the same with Louisville. We had the team total earlier and got scotched there. So I'm going to pass. We had a nice 2-1 night on Friday. So I am going to let everyone else run to the window groggy-eyed and hungover and pass at 12. And we released basically 5 or 6 pieces on Saturday. The day couldn't have started greater. First and foremost, James Madison +7. We bought the hook, and James Madison +215 on the money line. I talked to Scotty, and I said, man, this one reeks to holy hell. Of course, at 28-7, 28-10, I wasn't saying that, of course. But as they were inching closer, I started to feel, I was like, they're going to pull this one off, and they did. So couldn't have started the day any better. Second game. You know this. I know this. Everyone listening knows this. The whole world was on UNC against Notre Dame. Of course, Notre Dame had no offense. I had guys sending me stuff early in the week. Buy them now at a pick 'em. Get it now. And, of course, it got steamed to 2.5. We grabbed them +3. We bought the hook. And +115, 117 on the money line. So, again, the day couldn't have started any better.
Right.
So now, who's the other game the whole world's on? Well, I'll help you on this. It's Fade Bo Nix on the road. And everyone's on Washington State +6. Well, we had Oregon -6. And, of course, Bo does do what Bo does best, especially on the road. Throws a pick 6 for 96 yards, and the game's over. Well, Oregon comes running back and takes a short lead. And, of course, now we're going to win the game and not cover. Well, we get the pick 6 and we're up 10. And I'm saying to myself, whoa, this is too good to be true here.
And I had no action in the game. Not to cut you off, I had no action in the game. Turned it off at that point. So I had to learn this morning what the actual final score was. But please continue.
So now I by the way, I have a beautiful 65-inch big screen. I replaced my old Vizio with this one. I mean, it's like you're at the game. And I put the Direct TV sports mix on. I got 8 games going on, right?
Right.
So here we go. I'm following it on the phone because I'm superstitious. I don't want to see this. I see on the phone it's 3rd and 22. I'm like, you're going to do this, aren't we? 60-yard bomb to the one. 2 plays later, they score with basically no time on the clock. And so we're 2-1, but again, with a plus 215 and a plus 115. And if you played the spreads, today's great. You know, we're cruising. We should be 3-0 at this point, but we're not. I got Purdue and that game over 57. I got Purdue team total over 37 and a hook, and they're just playing grab ass. They're playing grab ass. They're playing grab ass. Fourth quarter, Purdue takes a 28-20 lead. I say, God, this is perfect, right? Here comes, I'm drawing a blank now. Who the hell did Purdue play?
FAU.
FAU. They scored 28-26. I get the 2, it goes to 56. I'm a guaranteed winner. Of course, they don't get the 2, so there's a double L. And then I get the DOA. Go ahead.
Sorry, on a what was it? A wide receiver pass, 2-point conversion attempt, I believe it was. That was the attempt that they went with.
Yeah, exactly. So Purdue will put up 50 next week. I don't care who they're playing.
Yeah.
And then the DOA of all DOAs. I loved Oregon State. I did, but so did a lot of people. So I got cute. Team total over 31 and a hook. And at halftime, I think it was 7-0 or 7-7. And I just shut it off and called it a night. So what could have been this beautiful, illustrious day turns into a 2-3 day, 2-4 day. And now we're on to Sunday.
It's that's how these college football Saturdays have been going, right? Because I didn't have the bad beats necessarily or anything like that, but I went 3-3. I went positive because I loaded up on Minnesota a little heavier. That was the one play that I loved the most on yesterday's slate. But it was kind of a similar. I went back to the well. They're in the graveyard now on the my preseason hype train of Northwestern. That's another L in the outright loss column there. So. Yeah, it was a weird day all around. I mean, obviously you had you had Oklahoma losing last night. That was against their one of their banes, Kansas State. That game was I'm sure chapped a lot of people there one way or another. But yeah, it was a weird Saturday for sure. I mean, some of these games went pretty close to what the lines were. So I know a lot of people are on both sides of some tough days there. But nonetheless. It's been break even for the most part for me on these college football Saturdays, at least outside of the Big Ten. I've had a lot more success inside the Big Ten. I think I just need to stay right there for my own bankroll. But got to get some bounce backs here on this fine Sunday afternoon, if I do say so myself.
And of course, I have Minnesota on the desk. We talked about it on Friday. That was the pick them to MSU short favorites who we had the over against Washington the week before, and I left them on the desk. Scotty actually liked the other side, and of course they were just rolling. So as Oregon was really struggling, of course now I'm really seething because I could have had an easy box to wire there. Preseason, I talked about this. I got in, I think, on the first week, and of course they didn't cover. They've covered ever since. Anyone watching and listening, okay? I do not care if they're playing the 85 Bears, okay? When you wake up and your bookie has, or your casino has a team total of Ohio State, you just auto bet it. I don't care who the hell they're playing. If they're in the big house, I do not care. Just auto play their team total over. You'll thank me at the end of the year. And can we get this straight, people? It's Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and the gap is bigger than the gap band, okay? And I don't want to hear about it.
I'm trying to pull up the rankings. I don't think there's even slightly an argument, right? I mean, especially Michigan hangs with Maryland a little more than a lot of people assumed, obviously, and that's obviously Maryland's got talent, but as far as when Ohio State gets a revenge game, they're going to beat the brakes off of them, off that defense. Clemson flirts with Wake Forest yesterday. OU loses. USC, you were talking about them, only beats Oregon State 17-14. So, Yeah, if we had a 12-team playoff, the teams fighting for whoever was after that 3 spot might be an interesting playoff. But you're absolutely right. There's nobody even close to those 3 teams. Georgia, I know Georgia flirted with Kent State at times yesterday, but at the end of the day, it was more fluky stuff than anything there. So I'm with you. There's nobody that's even close to those 3 teams. It's a mile. It's a landslide. The B team for those teams might be the 4th best team in the country, if I'm being completely honest with you, as far as either of those 3 teams.
And the comical part is Lincoln Riley is now in USC, and put him back to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma did what they usually do. They get that fluke. They were 13-point favorites.
Yeah.
Hats off to Kelly Stewart and her alma mater there with K-State. And the funny thing is, how do you think my Nebraska fans feel? Adrian Martinez looked like God yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, in all facets. I mean, especially, you're probably seething when you watch him do that against anybody, but to see him do it against Oklahoma after, I don't even know what the final score was last week, but yeah, and now you see a Northwestern team that's looking even far worse than anyone could have imagined at 1-3. I mean, yeah, they're getting kicked while they're down even when they're not playing. So yeah, that's about the way that things are going for the old Cornhuskers right now.
And it's going to be comical because I don't have the schedules in front of me, but I'll maybe you could quickly pull this one up. USC and Utah, do they play before their conference championship?
Let's see. I'll pull it up real quick. USC and Utah, you're asking?
Yes.
Yes, they do. October 15th, so not too long actually in Utah.
In Utah, and now does Utah have Oregon on the schedule?
Let's see. Utah has. They do late second to last season in November, or second to last week. I mean,
at home or at Oregon?
At Oregon. So
right.
It's going to be a dogfight, kind of what you're saying, cannibalism, essentially, right?
Yeah, because Utah's going to beat USC, and then
Right.
I don't know if they get that Oregon, so it's going to be a shitstorm. My point is the Pac-12 will have at least one loss. So I guess if Clemson cheats, they're going to get in by default. Is that correct?
I was about to say a weird scenario would be Washington rolling through because I mean they have Oregon and the rest of their schedule is actually pretty damn easy. And so I mean maybe there's a scenario where Washington's undefeated and not obviously not the 4th best team in the country, but you know what I'm saying there. But yeah, Clemson, right? I mean, especially with Wake Forest losing. The Big 12 isn't. I mean, unless Kansas is now all of a sudden a football school, they're the only team undefeated in the Big 12. But yeah, unless I'm trying to think, unless somebody out of the Big 10 has a schedule that allows them to only have one loss or something. But yeah, I think it's probably Clemson walking to that 4th seed right now is what it looks like.
And the last game that the whole world was on was Arkansas. The whole world was on them. And again, one of those fluky plays where they're about to go up 17-7, I think. And
Something like
the guy
that.
leaps up, fumble. Great play by the defender to pitch it to or hand it off to that guy there. And of course, just the way Vegas is, if you got 1.5, you're smiling. If you got 2, if you had Arkansas +2, you're blessed, okay? I mean, the guy is the best kicker, hands down, in their conference. And then I got guys in our lanes, I won't bring his name up, that just went off the deep end. I mean, God, please, you're a lot bigger than this. I hope you either deleted the tweet, which it doesn't matter right now, but you came out and apologized. I mean, you went way, way overboard there.
Right. And I my eyes lit up. The other one, I don't know if you saw, a lower level game, Missouri and Auburn. The finish on that game, if anybody had Missouri money line on a little extra sprinkle, chip shot, they run the clock out to get the ball centered at the end of regulation, 14-14, missed the chip shot from the 3-yard line, and then the fumble out of the end zone. Personal error either. I don't even think he was really touched. It just squirts out of his hand at the 1-yard line out of the end zone. Anybody that had Missouri money line, I think I had a little basically my own little tiny little action parlay, but I think it was something I already lost. Otherwise, I would have been a lot more upset about that one. But nonetheless, anybody that's got Missouri money line is probably on my highest list of condolences for today, I would say.
And finally, closing, hats off to Middle Tennessee State. A good friend of ours in our lanes, a diehard Miami fan, and just seething at this point. Listen,
Yeah.
you brought the coach in, you got the coaching staff in. These happen in year one. Not, I know it's Middle Tennessee State, but the fact of the matter is they're kids, guys. They are
Yeah.
kids, and for the most part, it's any given Saturday, like any given Sunday in the NFL, which we're about to go to now. So this shit happens unless your name is Georgia, unless your name's Alabama. And
Right.
the same with Ohio State. They're famous. Ohio State famous. They did it again last year. They get one of these games that they just peeking ahead or they didn't show up. They lose. Now you got to sheet out and then win your conference championship to get in. But like I says, it's set up for two SEC teams. They're both going to come in undefeated, and the loser goes to the 4 seed, or they might even drop them to the 3 seed, and
Yeah.
then it's just going to be a fight for that 4 spot.
Right. And I just thinking about it as of what you said, as far as any given Saturday, it's honestly awesome because there's parity after those top three teams. Because I'm just looking at Kentucky, number 8 team, flirted with Northern Illinois. And my, a lot of personal friends, alma mater at Northern Illinois, not far from my hometown, 31-23. Ole Miss flirts around with Tulsa. So, it might be a 1-2 loss team in that 4 spot this year as far as the college football playoff is concerned. It wouldn't shock me, obviously, honestly. But yeah, Clemson, like we were talking about, probably has the best chance of snatching that spot. But nonetheless, it's more conference play coming up, so things should be heating up pretty soon here.
All right, guys, it's Sunday. Okay. And anyone that follows us especially understands this. Our week's complete at the ECSI desk. We put together what we call as a Sunday Funday action parlay. We'll mix and match. We'll find our dog of the day, and we'll play a couple other games with it, money lines, and then we'll tend with the teasers. I mean the teasers. Excuse me. I don't tease. Sorry about that. Spreads, and then we'll have 2 or 3 parlays going here. You take one unit, you divide it up however you want to, or you just take one of the best. Looking at today's card, listen, it's Jedi mind tricks. You go to bed, you take a snapshot of the numbers, you wake up and see, okay, how are they trying to trick us now? Are they, they'll steam games because the games and they're stale. Okay, they're moving your eyes. They want you to follow the bags where they really want the other side. So as I look here, just my board here is lighting up like a Christmas tree. Baltimore still 2.5. Buffalo has dropped to 4 in some spots. Their back end is out. Meek is out. They're decimated. I will just tell you this, guys. Tua is not going to repeat what he did last week, okay? And that was all in the fourth quarter. So just tread carefully there. The Bengals are down to a flat 6, some spots 6.5. Saints still at a solid 2. Vikings have crept up to 6.5 today. The Chiefs are now 4.5 in some spots. And what's really intriguing to me on that game is the under-over, which is only at a 51, which again tells me defenses are going to have a day. Is it maybe going to be a keep away day with Jonathan Taylor there?
Yeah.
Vegas staying at a 2-point favorite there at Tennessee. Eagles a flat 6 against Washington. The Bears now are -3 against the Texans. Okay. So guys, on Friday, I put this on my timeline. Me and Riley talked about it. No, actually we didn't. I think it was me and Scott. We wait for Shefty. We wait for all these guys. Who's in, who's out. Okay. When the Jaguars were +7 or +7.5, and the game goes off the board and they drop it to 3, anyone playing fantasy here, I know it said that Herbert's going to do the walk around and he's going to decide if he's going to take the shot or not. Okay. Herbert's not playing, guys.
Right.
It's Chase Daniels. So just understand that. Riley, your Packers +1.5. So some money came in on Tampa there. Seahawks a flat 1 against Atlanta there. The Rams down to 3.5 against the Arizona Cardinals. And I do have a 1 in one spot, but right now the consensus is San Fran 1.5. The board is yours, Riley.
All righty. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways to go with it, man. I mean, we'll just start with let's ease ourselves into it, I guess. Let's start in Jets and Bengals. 6.5 point spread, it looks like. I don't know. This why we've been staring at these jet lines right here for the third straight week. Everybody knows the Bengals offensive line is really, really struggling right here. Yet the people still, it seems like the public still believes in this Bengals team and Joe Burrow. Don't believe in the Jets, I would say, and Joe Flacco. Are you staying away from this one with a similar line here for the Jets, or do you think there's a way to get into this one and maybe this is more clear than I'm making it out to be here?
I will tell you that the Bengals will probably be one of the biggest teaser teams. They will be one of the
Yeah.
biggest money line parlay teams. If I'm the coach, I know my O line sucks. It's a huge dose of Joe Mixon today. Jets cannot stop the run at all.
Right.
And then establish Chase and Higgins down the road. I just was looking ahead, and since he's on the Monday night game the Thursday night game at home against the Dolphins, and only 1.5-point favorites, which the whole world will be on Cincinnati. So it's kind of interesting. The Dolphins coming in here 3-0 after beating the Bills and going in on a short week and going to beat Cincinnati or what? So
increase.
At the end of the day, the Bengals win, and I think they do cover the 6. Anyone playing DFS today on the Millie Makers or whatever, I'd find a way to get Joe Mixon in.
Joe Mixon, yeah. No, I think I'm with you. I'm in my dynasty team, Burrow's my quarterback. All things considered, he's got average point output compared to what we've been seeing on TV. So I'm not I'm not exactly screaming, shaking my fist at this guy, but you're obviously looking for a bounce back. But I'm with you. I think Joe Mixon is a healthy dose today. Total only 44.5, 45.5. So. This one could be a wonky one. I mean, obviously Jets fans are flying high here, so I'll move on from that one. We'll go into, you just mentioned in Buffalo and Miami, 4.5. I'm kind of staying away from this one right now, man. I mean, I'm not going to touch the buzzsaw that is the Bills again, but I could see this Dolphins team at home putting up a really nice fight here. So, are you leaning either which way, or is this a popcorn game for you?
I have Allen, and by the way, I do have Burrow in some spots. I do have Chase on our teams. I'm managing 8 teams right now, and I do have Allen in some spots. I have Gabriel Davis in some spots, Stephon Diggs. I had Tua on the bench in a couple spots last week with 55 points, but my other quarterbacks on those teams are Lamar and Allen, so it wasn't like I was going to start Tua over them anyways. There's nothing that we can say against the Bills. They played on opening day against the world champs. They shut them out 21-0 in the second half. The Bills played grab ass with Tennessee, and next thing you know, they run off a bazillion points. It is a short week. Their secondary is banged up, but their front 7 is still healthy. Okay, so I think they're going to put pressure on Tua. Tua's going to try to hit Waddle and Tyreek in space. Listen, guys, do not step in front of this Bills train. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, you want to drop it down to 4, 3.5. God bless you. I think the line's moving for a reason because they're trying to bait you into the Dolphins right now. For me, it's Bills or pass.
Yeah, no, it's already at a point 2 weeks in where I found interest in the other side the last 2 weeks to some degree. Not in love with it by any means, but it's one of those teams where when you bet against them and then you're staring at a total blowout on your hands, you feel like an idiot when you're watching the game in front of you. I'm not saying the Dolphins can't win this game by any means. Would it shock me? No, it wouldn't really shock me here. It's in Miami. Teams go down to Miami and have crazier teams or worse teams have gone into a Florida stadium and have a worse performance. So it wouldn't shock me, but I'm not putting the hand on the stove for the third straight time this time around. So I'm with you on that one, my friend.
No banana in the tailpipe.
No, and there's no reason to let the Buffalo Bills ruin your Sunday if you bet against them. So next one up, interested to hear your thoughts on this one. Chiefs and Colts, we were already talking about it. You kind of alluded to where you think this game could be headed, and I totally agree with you. I mean, if you're we talked about this Colts team a little bit. As far as the division's concerned, even if you lose this game, you're probably still fine, right? But you're coming into this game 0-1-1. Obviously, you're pissed off, but as Colts fans know, you're probably, if you're spinning this optimistically, You haven't won on week one in around a decade. You're terrible whenever you go to Jacksonville, and so now you got your two demons of every single season out of your way. Now you could maybe say it's go time. I don't know, but you would have to expect their defense steps up much bigger than they had the last 2 weeks. So, any interest in taking the Colts, or is there a different way that you're interested in backing the Colts, or maybe this is that Chiefs buzzsaw that in September you're still not trying to touch either?
Hats off to you because that's one of the things that you have to think of. Okay, the Colts were set up to be 2-0 coming into this game to play the Chiefs. They were 10-point favorites at Houston, and they tied. Okay, which was a gift. And then they were 4-point favorites at the House of Horrors at Jacksonville. They didn't show up. Kansas City is at Tampa next week. Okay, right. The look-ahead line is KC -1, pick them, something like that. So the Bucs get your team, the Packers, this week, and then they get the Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs opened up 4.5 at Arizona. They weren't getting any action. They moved it to 6.5. They get the Arizona money. Chiefs could have put up 60 that day. And then they come home and they win. And now they're in a spot where it's the home opener for the Colts. The Colts are going to play 100% better.
Yeah.
If the under-over was 54, 55, I'd be nervous because then, first 1 to 30 wins.
Right.
All week, I said this is a Colts play. This is a Colts money line play. I think you get their best effort. But what you said a few minutes ago is spot on. If they lose and they are 0-2-1, they're still probably one game out of first in their division.
Right. And I think they get Tennessee next week. They do. So, it's a pretty quick chance. And like I was saying, the Chiefs in September, it's another one wherein you bet against it, and then afterwards they win by 20, and you see the stat line, what Patrick Mahomes is in September, you feel like an asshole. So, pardon my French. But I am very interested in the Colts today. I can't believe how many people have jumped off the bandwagon after 2 weeks. And like I said, it was their 2 House of Horrors. Week 1, they haven't won in, 8-9 years, and you mentioned Jacksonville. So I'm not jumping off the Colts bandwagon here, but I'm absolutely interested in the Colts in this situation here.
And as I talked and alluded to, that line keep dropping in Buffalo. There's certain games that they want the Jedi mind tricks. I can't say that enough, guys, on Sunday, and they're doing it here. They dropped it down to 4.5 in 2 spots, 3 spots, 4.5 right now. And then now, next thing you know, they got what they wanted. It's back to 5. Listen, if they were going to give me 6.5, I'd buy the hook, get it to a flat 7, and pray. But listen, I'm on the Colts.
Okay.
I'll probably have egg on my face come tomorrow, but I am on the Colts.
No, I think we can ride into this one together. I mean, the Chiefs last week it's not like they were world beaters. They had the huge swing at their own goal line, the pick 6. Otherwise, they're probably staring at a 1-1 spot right now. And a Cardinals team who in week 1 obviously wasn't very good. So I could see the Colts having a really nice offensive performance. I could see them having a nice defensive performance. So I think we're on the same page in this one. Next game up, interesting one. I think Jedi Mind Tricks is probably fair in this one too. Lions and Vikings. This one's in Minnesota. 6.5 is what I'm seeing now. A lot of the general public very much in love with this Lions team. What are you getting for the money splits on this one? Because I see the bet percentage coming in favor of the Lions, or the majority of the bet percentage on the Lions. But the money percentage in a couple spots that I've checked are bigger money is on the Vikings from what I've seen. Is that what you're seeing? Is that kind of where you're leaning in this one? Maybe the Vikings at home bounce back and handle the Lions? Or is this Lions team going to find a way to pull a cover out of their ass once again here with a 6.5 point spread?
Okay, everyone, you know that I use Sports Insights. I use Don Best. I use Wager Talk. We are in week 1 of a new spreadsheet that, again, I am not telling the name, but it is pretty damn good, so hats off. But I look at Wager Talk, which this is comical. I'm just saying that it's comical. Opening line of 8. The line was never 8, guys.
Right.
It was never 8, okay? The line was 6.5. Okay, it's down to 6. It's the perfect storm for the Vikings. And as you were asking, 58% of the money, 58% of the tickets, 65% of the money is all on the Lions. Minnesota, don't forget the public remembers what they saw last.
Yep.
And it was Kirk Cousins in prime time, and he sucks. But he was
Right.
throwing off his back foot. They didn't adjust to the blitz. Jefferson had a bad day. Anyone playing the Millie Maker, anyone playing FanDuel, if you don't have Justin Jefferson in your lineup today, shame on you. He will be on the winning ticket. He
Yep.
will be on that winning ticket, okay? And so in my survivor pool, guys, week 3, I have used Washington Commanders. I have used Denver. I am using Minnesota this week, okay?
Okay.
So that is my play here. I think they win by double digits.
Okay, I hear you. I think I'm with you. I mean, we haven't seen the Lions team on the road, and we see. I mean, this Vikings team, especially in a divisional matchup, that home stadium really doesn't get enough credit. And as a person who absolutely hates the Vikings, I find it weird that I'm saying that on the air. But their home field environment is fantastic, and I think it could prove a lot of problems for the Lions today. So I didn't have any play on this one, but I think I'm with you. That's really what it seemed like. I mean, talk about week 2 and week 3 being overreaction weeks. Obviously, when you have this many points with a team that the general public is in a love fest with, it's going to raise some red flags. So I think I'm with you there. Let's
and
go ahead.
again, guys, you got to go back and peel the tea leaves here. This is, listen, a Lions team that they gave up about 40 or more to the Eagles, and they backdoor covered at home. Then they came out guns a-blazing against Washington. They let Washington back in, but they won and covered at home. This is their first game on the road outside. And again, nothing against Goff. Swift is in. St. Brown is having a year of all years again. But the fact of the matter is they're on the road. Minnesota, one of the better defenses. I think Minnesota gets out early and often. They puts up a lot of points. It's the Dalvin Cook show in the second half. Like I said, get Jefferson in your lineups. But hey, listen, again, egg in your face. When you wake up Monday morning and you play back this show, every Sunday's the same thing. You look like a hero in some places. You look like zeros in others, just like in the college. You know, we're putting our faces, our names out. We're giving out as much information as possible. But again, we're not perfect here. So take what we are saying, process it into how you guys play your games. That's all.
Right. No, 100%. As we're seeing, I see. I don't know how questionable it was. I wasn't monitoring it too closely. Alvin Kamara for the Saints is active today. I don't know. Was that a toss-up? I don't honestly wasn't paying attention to that situation.
It was questionable. Shefty came out yesterday leaning yes. Matthew Berry sent the email this morning that he was in. I don't know if he's on a pitch count or what's going on, but he is in and active.
Okay, we'll get to that one in a second. Philly and Washington. Interested in your thoughts on this one. Philly looks very good. Another team that now everybody is absolutely fallen in love with. You got the Carson Wentz show in Washington. Is this you and I were interested and had some action on Washington last week, or at least had some interest, if I'm not mistaken. Are we interested again? I'm interested in some type of action on Washington. Is it fair to trust them, or is this Eagles or nothing here?
Again, Philly, world beaters.
Yeah.
Second favorite, I think, in the NFC right now to win the Super Bowl behind the Bucs, or get to the Super Bowl, excuse me. Now travel 2-0 against a Washington team coming off a loss at Detroit. Divisional game, the Carson Wentz revenge game. I'll just add one more cherry on the top. Either the Commanders or the Jets are going to cover. One of the two will cover, and probably good possibility one of the two could actually win outright. I know that sounds crazy. Again, Eagles, big popular play on the Moneyline parlay cards, on the teasers, on the survivor pools. For me, it's Commanders or nothing. That's all. And obviously, Wentz has to win the turnover battle. He can't give up 3 or 4 picks. And again, if they pressure him like they pressured Cousins, put the Philly defense in on your fantasy teams if you got them, because it could be a pick 6 coming for sure.
Yeah. No, I that's really what I was going to say. I am interested in Washington. It's just kind of doing the process of, okay, what's Carson Wentz going to look like today? Do I have any idea? Do I feel like he could have a good game? And then, obviously their offense is moving the ball whenever he's not throwing those turnovers or committing those turnovers. So if you can limit that, and obviously he's going back to Philly, playing Philly. They're in Washington today. So if it was in Philly, I think I might be a little nervous, and maybe he might have a little skittish feet there going back to Philly. But I think he'll have the nice home comfort and the home crowd behind him a little bit there, which it'll probably be a lot of Eagles fan there. But nonetheless, I'm very interested in Washington along with you there. Going to where you are sitting in front of right now, my friend. Baltimore and New England, 3-point spread. I see 2.5, minus 120 for the Ravens on DraftKings here. Give us a skinny on this one. Is this I know a lot of people obviously were scratching their heads when they saw this one with the way, despite the loss last week, Baltimore obviously through three quarters looked awesome. Is this a New England side or nothing, or is this a little bit too much of a mind trick thing as far as we were talking earlier in the show?
70% of the tickets, 69% of the money, all on the Ravens because they can't lose two in a row. Everyone seems to forget a couple things. Patriots home opener, number one.
Yep.
Number two, 3 or 4 times last year, put up a 50 burger or close to a 50 burger at home. Yes, against the Jets. Yes, against Jacksonville. Yes, against the Browns. But they still did it. I think you're going to see an entirely different Patriots offense. A lot of Harris, a lot of Stevenson. And my first prop of the day is a Stevenson anytime touchdown right there. I think Aguilar, and I'll be surprised if Kendrick Bourne is not active. Jacoby Myers is out. I'll ask you the question. With all the ticket count, with all the money, how come that line's not 3?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. This was the first one that lit up my eyes earlier in the week, if I'm being totally honest with you, as far as being interested in New England here. It stinks. This is the stinkiest one in my opinion from the moment this one, when I first saw this one earlier in this week. All the tickets on Baltimore. J.K. Dobbins is back, but that might be a little bit of a rust issue as far as that is concerned if he's out there. So I'm not buying Baltimore just because J.K. Dobbins is back. So the total at 45. If this was another one, if this was an up over 50, then maybe you'd be thinking Baltimore is going to put up quite a bit of points, and maybe that's a tough spot there. But I'm interested in the Patriots for sure at home here.
Yeah, and again, Lamar and Baltimore lost last year here, but it was a monsoon. And that last drive, if you haven't seen it, go back to YouTube and just search Lamar Jackson's final drive at Foxborough last year. You couldn't even see him. That's how hard it was.
Yeah, right. Would you be more interested in the 3 points with the 3-point cushion, or if you're buying into New England's defense under 23.5 for Baltimore team total?
Okay, so you're a smart man. 23.5. Your first instinct in the public and the degens is to do what with that total?
Go over. Get to 24 easy. Yeah.
So if it was 24.5, what's your first instinct to do?
Probably stay right under that 24 or and a half.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're telling me quite simply, if Ravens win, it's 23-20, 23-21, a Tucker field goal from 43 to win it. They want you to go over the 23.5. Don't buy the cheese. I'm not saying they can't do it, but I'm just telling you guys really got to start taking it to the next level. Everyone talks about Web3, and I know nothing about Web3, but you got to do your Web3 research in the NFL.
I hear you. I don't know if that's exactly the right track as far as Web3, but I don't know much about it myself, so I won't correct you there. But any faith that New England's offense is going to look a lot better today? I mean, week 1, only 7 points, but you had the couple red zone turnovers or end zone interceptions there. Do you feel better about their offense and Mac Jones going forward?
Yes, I do. I think, again, they're entirely a different team from home and road. If we play back the tape, they went to Miami week 1, which Bill has never, and the Patriots have never had success in South Beach, never mind in September. two big plays was the cost there. I mean, look at Miami; they're 2-0 now. Then they go to Pittsburgh again, a good defense, no Watt. They kind of controlled that game. Again, they're having a hard time scoring. They're moving the ball okay. What's the Patriots team total? What'd they give you? 20?
Let's see. I moved off of it for a second. If Baltimore was 23.5, then I think New England's 21.5 on DraftKings.
Okay. So guys, I was born at night, not last night. Okay. So they give you the Ravens at 23.5. Everyone's going to run to the over there. They give you the Patriots at 21.5. Everyone's going to go to the under here. Patriots team total over 21.5. Ravens team total under 23.5. And Patriots win 24-20.
Okay. Now I'm with you. I had the Patriots on the spread at least circled, but no, I mean those team totals are quite enticing there. So I'll avoid the Justin Tucker bomb at the buzzer on the money. I'm with you. I think the Patriots can win this game, but I'll take my 3 points and happily sit on the side of that money line one there for me. But next one up, another interesting one. Raiders and Titans both 0-2. Seeing -1.5, -2 in different spots here. I would say to you, I know you had your thoughts on the coaching staff of the Raiders last week. I think the public perception of the Raiders is still quite a bit higher than it is for the Tennessee Titans, and obviously getting their butts kicked by the Bills, 0-2 themselves, losing to the Giants in Week 1. I'm interested in the Titans here, but I'm not in love with it. Are you with me on this side, or is this a spot where you're thinking the Raiders might show out here in Tennessee?
I mean, Vrabel versus McDaniels, and it's Vrabel 99 out of 100 times, first of all.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs did not travel with the team. Next thing I know, he takes a private jet or pub, whatever he was on, Delta. I have no idea what he was on, but supposed to be their game time decision. Tennessee looked like ass. Again, they played a good first quarter, start of the second. Both teams 0-2. Again, here's the funny, is that a Raiders team can't go 0-3 in the NFC West, but a Titans team can go 0-3 again in that division.
Right.
As much as this pains me to say, guys, it's a Vegas number. I if Tennessee was favored by 2, I'd respect saying, all right, they want Vegas money. I'd lean Titans.
Okay.
They have not got off the 2, and the ticket splits are only 58% on the tickets and 56% on the money.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to play this game, guys, and this kills me to say this, I would just play the Vegas money line and move over. But it's a game that I don't think you have to get involved in. But Vegas made a stance that they're taking the Raiders here.
Okay. No, I hear you. I don't have any action on it. I was leaning towards the Titans. So if we want to have a stay away but lean battle between the two of us, then I'm happy to do that. But no, the part that you mentioned that I really wasn't considering was kind of what we were talking about with the Colts, as far as the Titans go 0-3, play the Colts next week. They're by no means dead, but the Raiders at 0-3 in the AFC West, that is definitely troublesome there. So it's a toss-up game. It's one of those ones where unless you really feel confidently on one way or another, I think you're right. I think it's a good stay away there. So I will take that advice and stay away from this one myself. So my neck of the woods, not my team, but the Bears hosting the Houston Texans here in Chicago. -3. I am sometimes a little biased as far as being an anti-Bear person over here. So am I right to be interested in the Texans, or is that the anti-Bear hater in me coming out as far as being interested in the Texans?
61% of the bets, and let me see where my eyes are here, and 75% of the money all on Houston. Initially all week, I said it opened at 2.5. They were looking for Bear money. Well, there's some reverse line movement on the Bears. Again, in a tough spot last week, shorter week than most. Come back home. Fields 1-0 at home in that monsoon. Bad first half. They found a way to win in the second half. Texans have played 2 good, strong games. They are 2-0 against the spread. They played Denver real tough, and obviously they played the Colts. I have to say that the Texans are due for a clunker. I'm not in love with this Bear team. I will tell you guys this. I think the total is 45 and a half yards on Mooney. He will finally be a part of this offense. I will take the over 45 and a half yards there. I think also Cole Kmet is a prop play to take the overs on. I think he probably scores this week as well. I think the Bears win, and I think they do. I'd like to obviously at 2.5. I'm not going to run to the window and play the money line at minus 135 or 140. I think it's the Bears side though.
Okay. No, I think I'm with you. Texans being due for a clunker can definitely I can definitely be convinced in that. I was trying to double check. I think the Bears cornerback Jalen Johnson has been ruled out for today. Roquan Smith is in for their defense there. I don't know. I'm 100% with you. I could see if I'm doing anything, maybe I'll do Bears under 20.5 on their team total, just because this offense is. I think it's very bad. I think it's a very bad offense. But I agree with you. I think Darnell Mooney, who has not looked good and has not lived up to expectations through 2 weeks, he's talented as hell. So if Fields can get him the ball, I think I really like that suggestion there as far as a Bears prop pick. But yeah, I'll continue being a Bears hater and maybe lean towards the Bears under 20.5, something like that. I don't know, but. Going to the next one, we were talking about Carolina and New Orleans, or we were talking about Alvin Kamara is what we were talking about. Saints and Carolina. Saints -2, 1.5, 2 here in Carolina. We talked about last week. We talked about the Week 2 matchup in Carolina. Carolina taking down the Saints after the Saints won in Week 1. Banged up Saints team last week. Their defense looked great through 3 quarters against Tampa Bay, and then the wheels fell off. Any read on either of these two teams? Do you trust Carolina's defense against this Saints offense, or is this a bounce back time for the Saints here in Week 3?
Let's play the Saints tape for 2022. They slept walk for 3 quarters in Atlanta. They were down 16, and then miraculously, Jameis goes to the locker room. Dalton puts his helmet on, and Jameis comes back, and then he's super Jameis, and they pull a rabbit out of the hat there. First half against the Bucs sucked pond water. James being Jameis. Third quarter pick. He should have been opening up a guitar shop. That's how many picks he threw. And the Bucs prevailed. This is supposed to be a Saints win today. I'm not buying it, guys. I'm not buying it. I've said Carolina all week. I'm going to stick to it. I would have bought the Saints at 3.5, 3. It's at 2 for a reason. I'm showing more tickets and more money on Carolina, and the line sticking at 2. I'm seeing a 41. So they're giving you that 21-20 look or something like that. I think Carolina's the side, but again, I'll be the first to say this is a dead stay away game for me.
I think we're mostly on the same page. I don't know if impressed is the right word, but if the Saints offense is going to, unless Jameis is coming out like Super Jameis. If he comes out like Super Jameis, then Saints probably win this game. But I kind of trust this Carolina defense. I'm staying away from it, but I do kind of trust this Carolina defense up against, if you're telling me the Saints are going to have any type of banged up or Jameis pain everywhere, whatever he said after Week 1, I'm interested in Carolina. But with you, it wouldn't shock me if Jameis looks like Super Jameis. Nothing shocks me with that guy on a week-to-week basis. So I am also staying away from that one.
And you should get a pretty good feel how the team feels about Matt Rule. We talked about it on our preseason stuff. He's the first coach to go. I said he was one of the favorites, if not the favorite. If they come out and lay an egg in the first half, then the rumblings and the boo birds are going to start to come. I had the Panthers last week at the Giants. They struggled and they got to they tied it up twice and then they lose. I lean them, but I'm going to stay away.
Yeah. Last point. Would it shock me if the Saints defense tore that offense apart? No, it wouldn't shock me there. So yeah, I'm with you. We're on the same page there. So, you were talking about at the top, Jacksonville and the Chargers. Technically still a game time decision, but we're sitting at 3.5 here. So I am with you. It does appear that Chase Daniel is going to be starting this game. If that is the case, are you interested in Jacksonville? Maybe you wish you probably caught the Jaguars before this one dropped all the way down to 3.5. If that's the case, but Chase Daniel is not a very good quarterback. He played for the Bears. Saw a decent look at him the last couple of seasons with the Bears. Not a very good quarterback. Any faith in him today, or is this a spot where you think the Jaguars actually take it to him and move the ball and have a nice defensive performance there?
This was usually the spot that the Chargers laid the egg. And, again, they went to 3, got some money in on the Chargers. It's 3.5 now, 42.5. I think you're going to see a big dosage of Eckler. I have no problem with an Eckler anytime touchdown. I don't know what the odds are there. I don't know if Keenan Allen is playing. I'm leaning no. I look for Big Mike to have a day again there. It's Chase. Do us a favor. Just do not lose the game for us. That's all. We have a good defense. We'll be putting pressure on Lawrence all day. We'll bottle up James Robinson. We'll bottle up ETN. Christian Kirk is not going to go off. I'm going to stay away, but I think all the people in the Circa contest, as I talked with Mr. Lucky on Friday night, got the free bingo card because the card comes out for Wednesday night, and it was the Chargers -7. So over 1,800 people left in the contest all have the Chargers. It was the biggest. I mean, the Jaguars. It was the biggest lean of the whole contest this week. I think Chargers win, and I wouldn't be shocked if it lands right on that 7 number.
Okay. No, I wouldn't be shocked either. Eckler -125 anytime touchdown score. Everybody else next closest, Mike Williams 150, James Robinson 155. So quite a bit of a drop off there. I'll say I'll lean towards the under on this one. The under game total. I think the line has dropped, so I would love to have had it wherever it was earlier in the week for sure. But can see this this Chargers defense could absolutely torment Trevor Lawrence in this Jaguars offense. That would not shock me at all. So I'll lean towards. I'm not taking it, but I'll lean towards the under on this one. How about that?
So you're telling me Eckler is -125 for an anytime touchdown?
That's what I'm seeing over on FanDuel. I can do a quick little double check here on the DraftKings and see what we've got here. Let's see. Yeah, he was -125 there. He is -105 on DraftKings, so a much nicer price over there on DraftKings.
Go run to DraftKings. Bleep FanDuel, will you?
There you go. Next one up. Let's see. Come on back out here. That one's 3:05 my time. 4:05 your time. I think that's the only one at that time. We'll go into my Packers and Bucks here. Plus 1.5, +1 for the Packers. 41.5 on the game total. I was trying to find the full most recent list of inactives for both sides because it is a decent sized list on both ends. I know Julio was still questionable last I saw. Sammy Watkins down to the IR for the Packers. Christian Watson I know was actually questionable. So going to be interesting what the weapons are on both ends here, but. Nonetheless, I'll have my Packers blog coming out this afternoon. Typically go with some more props. I've had some really success so far going this year and last year. But what I will say, I told you last week, I as long as this Packers defense is staying healthy throughout this game, I think the Packers defense can have some success against this Tampa Bay offense, and that really has nothing to do with the lack of weapons. This offensive line for Tampa's banged up. I think the Packers pass rush, who has been sending 4 or 5 guys without really any blitz pressure, so if they can continue to do that continue to do that while keeping their guys, the back half in coverage and whatnot, then I think they can have some success here. So that's where I'm leaning. I think the Packers get the win. But obviously, this Tampa Bay defense, you could say the same. They could have a lot of success too. So another one where I'm actually going the under 41.5 in this one. I think this is a tough, stingy defensive game for the most part here. Where are you leaning at this one? I'll say Packers get the win, but I'm more confidently saying under 41.5. What about you here?
All right. I think after I say this today, it will be the last time I have to say this. I'm going to go back to opening game. I'm going to go back to Packers at Minnesota down 7-0. First drive, Vikings score a touchdown. In comes Rodgers with his new set of toys, and Watson drops a 75-yard touchdown. Game was over. That's the mind of Aaron Rodgers, the diva, just like Tom Brady. They shake their head. It's never their fault. And listen, it wasn't Rodgers' fault. He threw a fucking perfect pass. Excuse my French. This is where I'm going to piggyback. Last year at Tampa, Packers 10-0 on the 50, driving for the coffin. They're nailing the coffin right now.
Yep.
Pick six. Thanks for playing. The head down, shaking his head. Bucks put up 40 straight. The rest was history. There's no Devontae Adams. Now, I know Tom doesn't have a lot of weapons. I mean, Evans is suspended. I don't know about Godwin. I don't know about Julio. Gronk didn't answer the phone. I just, it's going to be a steady dose of Fournette, and everyone wants to think it's a defensive battle. So I'll give my two sides here. Packers first half, and I think the Packers win the game. I really do. And I think that's going to set up a 2-1 Bucks team versus a 2-1 Chiefs team next Sunday. Loser loses 2 in a row.
So you think this one's more points than I'm leading on here for both sides?
I think that I'm just saying, if you read through the tea leaves, they want you to lean the under because of all the injuries and the fact that Green Bay has no weapons. I am not talking you off the under.
No. I just just wanted to get clear on what you were talking.
Yeah. Last week was a Aaron Jones day. The week before was a Dylan. If they're listening, which I know sometimes I listen to the show, will you please feed Dylan? Jesus, just feed that monster, will you? That's all I'm asking.
100%. I like him today. As far as yards wise, I like him around the goal line today. I might go with. I'm still finalizing my Packers blog. I like him to get in the end zone today. Could be a nice Romeo Doubs day though. It's because it's looking like Christian Watson might not play at all in this one. Cobb he has had an illness. I think he'll be fine. So I think Lazard will be all right, but banged up. But I could be a nice Romeo Doubs day.
I'll give you a sleeper. Anytime touchdown. Ready? Mr. Tanya.
I knew that's where you're going. I am strongly considering him today as well because the more he gets healthy, the more, and now obviously with the weapons, his snap count might continue to go up. So that was one of my whether it's touchdown or just receiving yards. He's maybe towards the top of my list of what I'm putting in my blog today. So I'm with you there.
What's his anytime touchdown?
It's been pretty damn enticing. Let me get what we're looking at today. Let's see, 235 on DraftKings. 235. Let me see if I can get another one here. Let's see. Because it's been bigger than that up until this point. So that one, honestly, that's looking pretty damn solid there. 230 over here on FanDuel. So and it's been higher than that.
Don't forget, last week I gave out. We had one that came through, and the other one, Mo Alley Cox had a touchdown, and that was the plus 470, and he had a touchdown.
Yeah. I like I was telling you, I think I might be interested in A.J. Dillon. Aaron Jones right around plus 100 after the monster night that he had. So pretty damn sounds a little too good to be true. I've had my eyes with the Packers touchdown scores are usually pretty decent as far as whenever something's too good to be true. Plus 100 after a monster Aaron Jones night. It's a little too good to be true for me there. Fournette I know has been questionable. He'll probably play though. But David Bakhtiari could be back. If not this week, sounds like maybe next week. So maybe that'll be some rustiness. But
I thought I read he's in.
It looks reading the tea leaves, it looks like he's definitely in. The offensive line's got David Bakhtiari shirts. Still technically questionable, but it does sound like he's going to play. Yeah. So maybe rustiness. I don't know, but yeah, I'm excited for that. Him and Elton Jenkins when they're rolling, they are fantastic. So. Yeah, stay tuned. I'll have my Packers blog out hopefully before noon, but if not, this one's an afternoon game, so we'll be just fine there. So let's see, only a couple more left. Let me get my list back up here. Next one up, Rams and the Cardinals in this one. 3.5 spread in favor of the Rams on the road here. 48.5 is the total. Cardinals have the come from behind win last week, obviously. Rams kind of played around with the Falcons, almost let them back into the game. I'm kind of staying away, but just because I don't really trust either of these teams right now. Do you have any trust either which way on the Rams or Cardinals in this game?
I am shocked the way this number is going. If you go past in history, McVay and the Rams own the Cardinals in Arizona. Desert Swarm is just like a tropical breeze when it comes down there. With that said, the miraculous comeback last week, which again the whole world was on the Raiders.
Yeah.
I'm going to cry foul here. I think they're moving the line falsely. They're trying to get you into Arizona. I think this is a Rams all day. I actually have in two spots a 3 minus 125 or minus 121. So they are dying for Arizona money. And I guess they're getting it. I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at the splits on the other side over here. 60% of the bets, 64% of the money on Arizona. It's all Rams here for me. Listen, you can do what you want with Cooper Kupp. Everyone watching and listening. I mean, the guy's just he could take the first half off and he'd come back and he'd still have 8 for 102 and 2. So he's an auto whatever. Allen Robinson scored last week. That was one of our anytime touchdowns. I think they get him active. I don't know what his catch total is, his yardage total is, but I think he could score again as well.
Okay. No, I'm with you. I don't trust this Cardinals team. McVay has those games where you have a couple where it's head scratcher, like what was McVay doing all game, and then he has games up against guys like obviously you said he owns the Rams for the most, or excuse me, owns the Cardinals for the most part, where he looks like that genius, the boy genius that we all talk him up, so, and that's usually what comes out in these Cardinals games. So I've stayed away to this point. Maybe you talked me into the Rams, but I'm definitely staying away from the Cardinals on that one there. So. I think one more before the Sunday night game, Atlanta and Seattle. +1 I'm looking at here. Falcons +1 on the road here. I'm just trying to pull up as I'm doing it, anytime touchdown score. But Falcons, I don't know. I don't believe in this Seahawks team at all. However, at home it's a different environment there. I think they're going to be a team worth fading on the road. But at home, I'm not quite sure here. This Falcons team could be due for a stinker. They obviously hung in there the last 2 weeks with the Saints and Rams. Any faith either which way. What I was saying about the anytime touchdown scorer, I'm a Kyle Pitts owner in Dynasty, so I'm hoping for a huge bounce back. If it doesn't happen this week, then I'm hitting the panic button. Holding out for this week for sure with Kyle Pitts. But any which way you like in this one, or any props?
I looked at that number all week, and the world is on Atlanta. 84% of the bets, 72% of the money. Listen, they should have beat the Saints. We know that. They came all the way back for the backdoor cover with the ball with a chance to win that game last week.
Yeah.
And you know what? As I said, the Texans are due for a flat game. I think the Falcons are too. I think actually Seattle money line is the play here.
I think I'm with you. I think I'm with you. I'm staying away from it. I don't like the Seahawks team, just downright, plain and simple. I don't like the Seahawks, what they're doing. But at home, I think I'm with you. If I'm going anywhere, that might be it. Any faith in Kyle Pitts to have a at least as far as fantasy talk here? Any faith in Kyle Pitts? I like the matchup more so than the last two, but I don't know. The comment that Arthur Smith made is really chapping me as far as my Kyle Pitts ownership for Dynasty here.
Listen, you drafted him in the 3rd round. You play your studs. It's coming. And I'm not saying that to you. I'm just saying it's coming. The guy is gifted. We want to bet on the come. I get that part of it. He should have a big day coming soon. If not today, listen, I mean, if you looked at some of those crazy numbers, you said Eckler was minus 125. Anytime touchdown, 105 at DraftKings. I'm just saying this on the top of my head right now, and you can pull it up. I would have to say Kyle Pitts, anytime touchdown, plus 145.
210.
Yeah. 210. I mean, and the guy's done nothing. You know what's coming. I was going to look at it on the other side, like a DK Metcalf or a Lockett, one of those two to get loose.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Lockett 59.5, 54.5 for Metcalf on the receiving yards. Metcalf plus 150, Lockett 200, 2-1 for the anytime touchdown.
So think about that for 1 second. Kyle Pitts is plus 210, yet Lockett's only plus 200, and Metcalf's plus 150. I'll take the Metcalf plus 150. And if you want to take a little sprinkle and lock it to the mailbox, I would go ahead with that. Let's wait till Pitts blows up, and then you can just ride him out the rest of the year. As for the regular season guys, he's just a plug and play. I will take any Kyle Pitts trade if I was in a trade league.
Oh, yeah.
By far right now.
Yeah, I'm my disdain for Arthur Smith grew though after last week where he said or someone asked him about his targets and he said it's not fantasy football. Well, the dude's the most talented player on your offense. Get him the damn ball. Anyone that's a Kyle Pitts owner is just fuming so far.
If it wasn't for fantasy football out there, you'd take a 0 off of what you're worth right now. So just take it easy on fantasy football, please.
Next one up, San Francisco and Denver. Last one up, Sunday Night Football. San Francisco -1, 1.5. I'm seeing in different spots here. Let's see. The world has already cut ties with their appreciation of Mr. Nathaniel Hackett. He is near the bottom of the public love list as far as head coaches are concerned through 2 weeks here. The masses are pouring on San Francisco. Are you monitoring this one? Do you feel confident at this point? I'm interested in Denver. I like to sometimes monitor, the money movement up until that Sunday night game. Once people start pouring in money throughout the day, that at least the public is concerned. You liking Denver on the fade the public spot there, or you're interested in the Niners with trying to go 2-1 here?
72% of the bets, 62% of the money, all on San Fran. Jimmy G is back at the Duck Boats and Parades. Rice Aroni, here we come. The Niners are back. I'm not buying it. They travel all the way across country, primetime event. I think it'll be a fun game. We haven't obviously seen what Russ can do. Now, listen, when I say that, by the way, I go back to last year, and I thought it was more his being upset with Carroll and management, not giving him the contract, and he played like ass. But if you look at the way he has started this year, there could be some regression and father time starting to wear on Russell Wilson. I think this is the game. He went back to Seattle. That had to have been a real tough spot there. Yeah. And then, of course, they wheel in the Texans again, another weak performance. I think you're going to get Russ, big-time Russ today. I've been on Denver all week. Take them plus the 1.5. Take them on the money line. Take them on the first half. I think the Orange Crush will be back. I think Jimmy will probably make a big mistake late. I'll just sprinkle in my love affair here. What is Debo on an anytime touchdown?
Let's see. Debo anytime touchdown. Debo plus 110.
Gee, thanks, guys.
That's the best odds to score a touchdown in that game. Nobody's at minus money. Plus 110 for Debo.
Who is that? Jerry Rice? Come on, guys.
I mean,
and
George Kittle's back, isn't he, tonight?
He's supposed to be, yes.
220.
I'll just say this, guys, too. If you want Denver, you can wait, because what's going to happen is after the train wrecks at 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock, I'm pretty sure that this line will be 2 by kickoff.
Yep. That's kind of what I was saying. I like to double check that the masses are really rolling in on the one side, and by 5, 6 o'clock my time, it's a little clearer to me, and I fade the public a little bit on those Sunday night games, and especially this one seems ripe for the fade the public, if you ask me over here.
No, I agree. And listen, I'm not saying San Fran can't win, and anyone on San Fran, God bless you. I hope you didn't drive off the road or spill your espresso. I'm just telling you, and listen, the actual number was Denver -3. There were some spots 2.5. They gave it to their shops, and immediately the shops just poured in on San Fran, and that's the number. And I'm a big fan of San Fran. Why? I got Debo everywhere. I got a little Ayuk. I respect the coach. I respect the team. I had more futures on San Fran last year than a dog with ticks, and I'm still a little salty there. So it's not my disloyalty to the Niners. I respect their program. But with that said, I think you're going to see the real Russ today.
I think so too. And this Niners team the last couple of years really gets rolling later on in the season. You chalk up last week to catching the Seahawks in San Francisco. So I'm with you. I think it's a good spot for the
And I'll close here. You don't think Russ knows the 49ers a little? I mean, he
I think
did
so.
play in the NFC West. So I think when Hackett tried to give out game plans, he probably said, hey, Hackett, you go in the corner right now. I'll tell you the scouting report for the 49ers defense.
Yep. How about a Russell Wilson anytime touchdown, a little QB boot rollout, 10-1 odds. How about that?
Whoa! Little beer and pizza money there.
A little late night sprinkle. How about that?
I like where your eyes are. And I'll throw out one last one. Judy is back. Cortland is back. What's the anytime touchdown for Albert in the can?
Let's see. Albert, 420.
All right, that's my Mo Alley Cox play of the weekend.
Okay.
A little Albert in the can.
I love it. I like the Robert Tonyan pick. I don't know if I'll have the touchdown score. Maybe I will, but I'll probably have some type of Bob Tonyan action. Same thing with some AJ Dillon. I think it's a good day for both those guys.
I think the Dillon sneaky, those numbers that you've been giving us, and then you actually look, and he's only, 225, you said?
Who was that? Oh, Tonyan? Yeah.
Yeah. So Vegas ain't giving out any freebies.
No, not on that one. No, he's the dude's a good tight end, man. I would say he's a top 10 tight end. Just needs to stay healthy and get himself out there. So, maybe not a Romeo Doubs touchdown, but I think he might have some. It'd be a good play for some yards today. We'll see what. I don't even know what his total is yet, but I'll be getting the blog done here for the Packers here any minute.
All right, so everyone wagering this evening, this afternoon, this morning. Please do it responsibly. It's Sunday. Guys, I cannot tell you enough. Those billion-dollar casinos, sports books, resorts in Vegas are built on NFL Sundays. All right? Don't be a part of the madness. Don't get caught up in the quicksand. Okay? If you're losing this week, listen, take a couple swings, do a few parlays if you want. Don't put your bankroll at risk. Please. Okay? Monday is the new start of a week. It's a new beginning. You will feel a lot better. Yeah, in these lanes, you have to pay the man once in a while. It's okay. But it's when you double and triple down and you wake up hungover on Monday morning and you're like, oh, shit, what did I do? Oh, my God, I can't believe it. You probably didn't remember the second half of the 4 o'clocks, never mind the late game, okay?
Right.
Choose wisely. Myself and Riley will be back tomorrow in the afternoon for the closing bell. For all the ECSI and followers here, it's business as usual this week, trying to confirm a few other guests, but Riley on Friday with the Big Ten review. He'll be co-hosting the closing bells. We'll bring in Andrew, we'll bring in Julian, and we'll try to get a few more guests. So myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed day. Have some fun out there. Guys, do not go over your skis, okay? If you want to DM me, I got more stories that will make your skin crawl, okay? Don't be one of those guys. Trust me. Have a day, and we'll see you soon.